Sometimes it feels like there's too many things to be done in the world, but the kids in this book show us that there are lots of things we can do, and you can get other people on board as well. So it starts with you and your household, it gets out to your street, and after that, your whole community.
I'm David Holmgren, co-originator of the permaculture concept, and I've been telling the story of Australian suburbia for a long time now, about our shared history and about its future possibilities. That story was always about the people in the street, but the kids were sort of, I suppose, a bit in the background. And now that story's been translated into how did it look from the kids' perspective. So with help from my mates Beck Lowe and Brenna Quinlan, we've done that in this new book.
Our Street!
Well, they did most of the work.
So, Our Street basically tells the story of 4 houses over time. We start pre-European, move through various stages just to these houses being built, and then the story swings into action. And every era or so we've got a bird's eye view where you can see what's happening in those 4 houses at that particular point.
Through the whole book we get to track the changes in this one street, the different households that live there and the different things that they implement. So this spread we start into the 1960s. We can see things that happened in Dave's time, like the sewer being installed in his street.
That really happened in my backyard.
True story.
And getting into the 70s, which is when Dave co-originated the permaculture concept, but also things were happening like Grassroots magazine was coming out and inspiring young people like Lucy here to keep chickens. The 80s, when I was a kid, when people were riding BMX bikes and had just started wearing helmets. We didn't have to yet, but people were wearing stack hats.
The 1990s is when I was growing up, and there was a lot of concreting in, a lot of new houses being built in backyards, and maybe not as much for kids to do as there might have been in the 60s and the 50s.
But then things start happening. We have permies moving in and the fence is being pulled down between the 2 houses. So we now have these centre 2 houses integrated without a fence, and lots of cool stuff happening. And then there's party night out the front when they make pizza in the pizza oven.
And they're still one of the original residents.
You can see the veggie growing spilled over into the neighbouring houses, but it's still pretty ordinary in these houses.
New residents again in 2021. These guys are part of a radical bike collective.
And we end on Kikipi in 2029, who has the run of 4 households without fences and has lots of amazing things to do all the time, whether it's making cheese, doing woodwork, learning musical instruments or fixing her own clothes. She's got a wonderful neighbourhood where she can just walk from house to house, do a whole lot of different things.
And where there's so much happening in the street, you hardly need to go away to check out all the things that are going on.
And so positive action can really start at home.